game, and I am just outside of Camden, South Carolina, at the battleground where the Revolutionary War Battle of Camden, South Carolina took place. And I'm making this video just as a reminder of not to forget the original Patriots, the original men and women who fought for our original independence from King George III and England. And this battle took place August 16th, 1780. Unfortunately, the Americans got their butt kicked, but we did manage to win the war. And this is just a little marker here. And what I want you to notice is down here at the bottom, it says American troops engaged. And we had American troops here fighting the British who were from Maryland, Delaware, North Carolina, and Virginia, as well as, of course, South Carolina. And over 900 men here were either killed by the British troops or were wounded. And this is the battleground out here. Of course, it goes way back, but this is where the Battle of Camden actually took place. But I believe it's important that we take a moment to remember these original patriots, these men that sacrificed their lives, for one thing, and that's freedom. Because at that point in time, we were part of the British Crown. And King George III was not treating us the way we thought we needed to be treated. And you can see this in our Declaration of Independence from England, where Thomas Jefferson, the author of it, listed 27 civil rights violations that King George made and was making against the American people. And so we had to go to war with the most powerful military at that time in the world, the British military. And it took 8 years, but we defeated them. But it was at a large cost in lives. I'm going to walk around here. There's a monument I want you to look at. This is a monument for Baron de Kalb, who was mortally wounded here, right here at this spot in the Battle of Camden, August 16th, 1780. He was wounded 11 times, and most of his wounds came as the result of being stabbed by a bayonet. And he became a POW, a British prisoner of war, and about 3 days later, he died from all his wounds. But we can't forget these guys, because if it wasn't for them, we would not have a U.S. Constitution. But this here is where the Battle of Camden took place, and where roughly 900 Americans either gave their lives here or were wounded, fighting to break away from England and to form the United States of America. So what we have today is at a great cost. But this is the battleground here, just outside Camden, South Carolina. And one other thing I'd like to point out is that during the 8-year war we had with England, we lost about 7,000 soldiers in actual combat. But we lost over 12,000 soldiers who died in British prison of war prisons. Most of them died in British prison ships, which were parked outside of New York City Harbor, Charleston, South Carolina Harbor, Savannah, Georgia Harbor, and even in St. Augustine, Florida harbor. And we lost over 12,000 soldiers to British brutality, starvation, diseases. You see, the British did not consider us as a legitimate military or legitimate government, legitimate combatants. They considered us as traitors, and they treated our POWs as traitors. And many of them suffered big time before they actually passed away and died inside of these horrible conditioned prisons. And quite often, the British would offer to parole these American POWs if they signed a pledge that they would give their loyalty to King George and never take up arms against England. And many of these POWs refused to do that, and they paid the ultimate price for it by actually dying, not just dying, but dying a horrible, cruel death. And they did that for liberty and for freedom. And I just think it's important that we remember these men and women who did that for us so that we can live in the United States that we have today. But this is Eddie McCain with ABC American History, and I hope you have a good day.